Alright, so in this video is the conclusion with regards to what we have discussed so far. And I'd suggest test what we have actually practically proven to ourselves for yourself. And to consider what we have discussed so far. Because what we've realized in what we've applied just on those few points is what manifests is actual real self-change. And that change, well, within the living, becoming an expression of self as that, change the world. Because we've created this world within how we've accepted and allowed ourselves to exist. And within changing who we are, how we exist in all ways, we change the world, one by one, so to speak. Another point with regards to the principle of the acceptance and allowance of free will and free choice is suggested to look at it for self, within self. Have a look at what is it that I justify within another, within stating that it is their right to do so, as they will, as they please, as they want, within the principle of free will. And have a look within self, where self is actually accepting and allowing self to exist as such acts, doings or sayings. And how is it that we are creating our own demise within accepting and allowing the illusion of free will. Because what we found is that, as I've stated, we're hiding our own dishonesties within free will, within the illusion of free will, to continue existing in self-dishonesty within the light of self-interest in protecting and defending our own ego and survival. That we've used free will, abused free will, to continue our self-definition within self-interest survival as ego. And the only way that we're going to actually change this world is if we all exist equal in one. If we're all actually really equal in one. Meaning that I am actually equal in one as all and everything that exists, that I become the living expression of all as equal as one. Within that principle, within living that principle absolutely in self-honesty and common sense, life emerge, which is beyond anything and anyone as it exists currently and as what it exists currently. And to simply stop all acceptances and allowances within self, all justifications, all ways and means behind which we hide to protect our own egos, to protect our own self-interest, to protect our own survival, to stop existing within survival and to actually start living. That's the key. Living. Not trying or attempting to survive, not trying or attempting to protect, defend our own ego of self-interest through means such as the illusion of free will, of allowing and accepting certain things within another because we actually secretly want to continue doing it within ourselves. Also the point of ego, test it out for yourself. Try and attempt to change the ego as a separate entity that exists out there somewhere within yourself. And then walk the process of actually changing you as ego. Therein you'll find the definitive, real, actual self-change. The point of polarity, test it for yourself. Try and live only good, be only good, and realize the amount of effort and energy and focus that is required to go into that, to maintain that it becomes a maintenance, not a point of living. And to completely disengage self from the whole design of polarity as good and evil, to not exist as the definition of either good or evil, but simply to walk in self-honesty, equal in one here. Alright. I say those are the few primary points that we'd suggest Michael Tsarion to consider and have a look at, because it will most certainly make his work a lot more penetrable within human beings as they practically walk their life experience in this world. Because that's where we require to focus on, is human beings. And to have them be able to assist and support themselves, practically to change themselves. Because no one, as I've said, can change anyone. Each one must and will change themselves, for themselves. And not for anything or anyone else, but themselves. That we must assist and support ourselves first effectively before we can actually assist and support another effectively in self-honesty. But living an example, because in the very point of being an example already implies change. And so by living examples, all become a living example of themselves. And through us actually really changing ourselves, thus we change the world, because we are the world. The world is us. Alright, thank you.